Hey everybody, I just concluded mostly making a Power App for what we had talked about with poor data for the Rinker Beam plant in Iowa Falls. So I'll just show you that. What I had done in doing this as well is I made like a step-by-step tutorial on how I did this and how someone else can do it, including how to make the SharePoint lists, the document library, the flow that works with this, as well as the Power App. So it's not quite done yet. It's pretty dang close though. And so I thought I would go ahead and share it since I'm going to be out tomorrow. So this is the main page of the app. This is in what do they call it? Preview mode. So the way this works is it shows you the Rinker job number, the pour number, and the date for each of the items. So, and it arranges them in Rinker job number. So it wouldn't have to do this. You could change it to by date order or whatever. These buttons here will flip it around. So this is ascending and descending or vice versa. So you see this one starts with a 6 and ends with a 1-3 instead of 1-7. Sorry, I sidetracked myself. It looks like it sorts by the first character first and then the second character next, because this is smaller than this thing. Anyway, you can also use the search bar, which by default, the functionality is it searches the first characters of this. So if I typed in 1-7, it would just filter it down to that 1-7. I'm not a big fan of that. I like the contains function instead of starts with. That contains function is very difficult in Power Apps, so I didn't even mess with it for this demo. But anyway, this is these are all the tests that have been put into this list. And so you can go into any one of them. I believe this was actual data here. And when you click into it, it shows you what's called the details screen. So all of the details are here, but you can't change them. And on the bottom of this details screen, there's a create report button. There's also see that this report was created. And if we do a new one, it'll say no report created or something like that. So it changes a little bit based on the reporting. The top part of the screen slides, the bottom button and statuses stay the same. So I can go back here, I can delete this entry and I can edit this entry. So if I edit it, I can change any of the different things and hit enter or save, whatever that button is. Accept, I guess, is technically what it is. Again, I can create a report. If I want to make a new one, I go back to the main screen here and I click on the new button and I can put in a new number and that it's 4-1. On the calendar, it's kind of weird that it makes you say okay after you choose the date. It's a single date field. I don't know why it's the double entry, but I can choose the time and put in the mix. And missed a character there. I thought I had hit it. And then what time did we do our test? I can't remember what time we did the pour. 2:04 on the 8th. So let's assume that it's after, slightly after that we did our test. Let's say 2:07. And what did we get for our temperature? 84 degrees, unit weight 160, air is 1.8, and spread is 21. So I could also do another test here. I have test time at the bottom because it didn't come in right. It's an error I need to fix, but the same things are here for the second test. So then I could just say, okay, I'm done. Those are my results. And let's say I'm pouring along and decided to make a mix change, and I could come back in here, remember which one it was, and do that second test. So I can just go edit, and we'll just pretend like the time and date works here, but it doesn't. Now the temperature is 85 and unit weight's 145, and the air must have gone up a lot. And the spread is now, I don't know, 18. So now I hit accept, and that now updates that same entry back in the list. And so finally, I'm all done with all my stuff, and I can hit create report. What the create report button does is it just updates one entry in the list to report requested. So I'm going to jump over to the list here and hit refresh. So this is the list that holds all the data. And so that you see what I just put in there. I did not put max temps on that form, so that's why they're not shown here, but the rest of the stuff is here. And so now this report requested flag is on, and then these others have the report created flag on. So if I go back here, I see the report requested but not reported. And if I go back to one of these others, I see that the report was created. I think I'm going to put a date on there too. I like the idea that the report was created at such and such time on such and such date. And then you know that it's the report that I just did, not the report that I did before that. Anyway, so what this does when the report requested flag is checked is it kicks off this flow or Power Automate that's watching for this to happen. It's watching for any change in this to happen. And specifically when the change report requested is turned on to true, it goes through the flow. And the last part of the flow is, if it worked correctly, it populates this report created and unpopulates the report requested. So now reports created. Something I don't have figured out quite yet is if I go back into the one I just made, which is this one, it still says requested, not reported until I refresh it here. I want that to automatically refresh. So you can hit create report, you can see that it's happening, and you can see when it happened. I also want to put another button here. It's actually here, you just can't see it, that says open report. So you can open that report and see what happens. So in the document library for reports, if I scroll to the bottom, now I can see that there is a PDF report. It has all of that same stuff that I put in there. Oh, that's not it. I'm not sure how it's sorting. Let's sort by modified with the newest on top. That will help. Okay, now we have what I just put in, and this is just a bare bones Word document. It puts in the project number, puts in the pour number, the date, time, and what the following results were. So all of that stuff that we put in. I'm distracting myself. I'm not sure where that came from. I'm going to have to check on those times because those look weird. But all of those things that we put in are here. The second test we put in here. So it made the report and it saved it in a document library as a PDF. So that's your like official report. But also the next thing it did is I'm going to go over to the flow now and show you exactly what it does. Oh, before I do that though, let me go into, I'm on a different screen, bear with me. I go into my email and look, I got an email from myself that has the attachment. That's a PDF attachment of this super fancy report. All happened automatically as soon as I hit that report button. So pretty cool, I think. Yeah, so let me get back here and I'll do a quick run through of how the flow works. So again, there's a list in SharePoint that's keeping track of the data. That's what the Power Apps populates. When you hit create report, it runs the flow, and the flow goes into this document library, gets a template, and uses the data from the list to put onto the document. The document just is a Word document that has some variables put in it, and the flow or Power Automate is able to fill that in. correctly. All right, so I'm opening the flow now, and I'll just, again, really quickly, really basically walk through it. I recorded the entire process in painstaking detail, including all my problems and errors. So that's available if you want it. Again, how does the flow work? So when an item is created or modified in that list, so it's watching that list, and anytime anything's created or modified, it gets the changes. What has been created and modified? And it asks a question. Has the column report requested been modified? And if it has, and has that report requested been turned to true? So has it changed, and has it changed to true? If not, it doesn't do anything. It just comes here and ends. If it is true, or both of those things are true, then it gets that item, so all of the data from that one row that changed, and it gets the content of this Word template. Then once it has that, it creates a new Word file, and it assigns the properties from that list item to this Word file. So it's filling it in. Then it gets the file content again. So it has put these properties on it, but then it gets that file content again. So it's the filled out form. It creates a temporary file in OneDrive because I needed to use this convert file card, and it converts it to a PDF, and then it saves the PDF back to that document library. So if we look back in the document library, you see the PDF and you see the Word file. I think the Word file is handy for data transfer, and we'll talk about that later. All right, so it has those two files created. Now it deletes that temporary file out of OneDrive because we don't want to muck it up by just adding more and more files all the time. It updates item. What's that? Okay, so this is where it turns those flags of report requested and report created. It turns this one from yes back to no, and it turns the report created one to yes. So then it sends that email, and it's sending it to whoever modified it, saying the report for, blah, blah, blah in the subject. And then in the body, it's, let's see, the created by display name created this report, see the attachment, and then it adds that file with those contents as the attachment, and it's done. So we've gone from putting it into the app to hitting the report button to having it show up in your email or whatever else you want to do with that information. So the only missing piece here is a little cleanup in the way things look. I don't like how the data is actually out further than the label for the data. And then I have these so that it turns off, the report requested turns off once the status is false. And this goes from not reported to report created once it sees that report in there. So I also want to make a button, like I said, to open that report. So if you just really don't believe it, that it happened, you can click that and you can look at it and see that it did it right, and you're happy with it. So that's a quick rundown, and my plan is to figure out how to export all these so that they can be imported and tweaked however you want to. Hope you liked it.